Tropes.
Balrogs Blastbeats for another week. The coolest uncool podcast. We need to get that written on a t-shirt somehow.
Mugs.
Mugs.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
mugs. No, you can never have enough coffee mugs. You never ever can.
Then I'm just always going to be drinking mystery beverage.
100% instead of clearly a beer.
I wonder what Grant could be drinking out of that. And the bottle.
This is just a reason for three nerds to get together and talk about a lot of things to do with nerd and alternative culture. Whether it's, it's happy, fun pop culture stuff, or, we get a little bit deeper every now and again. But, you'll have to, tune in to find out each week. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Redbeard.
I'm Margy. I'm the one who always brings down the mood.
And I'm Grant, and I'm the one that's never prepared, just like today. So we're going into our nerdiest thing, and I have not prepared anything. So you're going to hear about a dog birthday party that I went to on the weekend.
That sounds pretty nerdy.
That sounds fucking cool. I want to
It
go
was
to a
great.
birthday
Yeah, so it was
party.
our 8th birthday party for one of my friend's dogs, the dog's name is Zoe. She's a greyhound. She's very cute, long doggo. My friend Zach made her a birthday cake that was made from sweet potato and peanut butter that had a mashed potato icing on the outside, and it had like two little dog bone treats on top. It looked delicious. I had some.
Amazing.
It didn't really taste like much because it's mostly potato and with a tinge of peanut butter.
That
But
sounds great.
it was. I've had worse cakes, that's for sure. How about you, Margy? What's the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
It's just me only caring about one thing, and that's the last book of the Wheel of Time. I can't think, it's the only thing I want to do is just finish it off, but I'm trying to make myself be functional and not just read books all day. But it's really what I need to do, because I'm starting a job on Thursday and I need to fucking finish this book before I start, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pay attention. I'm just going to be like, Wheel of Time. ADHD brain just shaking around. So I've started compiling a list of books that I want to read next. There's a sci-fi series I can't remember, but it's a post-nuclear war sci-fi thing. Sounds great. Can't remember the name of it. When I remember, I will.
Sounds right up my alley.
And some people have magic powers, which just makes it so much cooler. I love a sci-fi fantasy crossover.
Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. That's what it sounds like.
No. It's a book. And then
we don't do anime in here.
I want to read Priory of the Orange Tree, which is written by a female author. That's a fantasy novel. Because you can't get enough of a female author in the fantasy series. And it's time for me to read some Ursula Le Guin, because I haven't read any of her yet, and it's time, because I fucking love sci-fi. And so I'm just getting book excited now that I can reclaim
Are you
my
sure
reading.
You didn't want to just
powers.
read some sweaty Frank Herbert Dune?
Oh, I've already read Dune once this year.
But if you read the ones his son was forced to write through blood right, didn't even have a choice, just had to keep writing.
I know
Dune
I haven't
books.
actually read them yet. I just know what happens in them because Google.
Was it Robert Jordan helped write those too, didn't he? Or am I making
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson. That's right.
He's the helper.
That's what I meant. It's to follow on from Robert Jordan, Brandon Sanderson.
But it is really nice reading and being I'm pretty sure Robert Jordan wrote that chapter, and it's and then you're reading another one, you're like, oh, that's so Sanderson, and you're like, oh my god, I've got such strong opinions about these two authors. But
did you know that he has his own Magic the Gathering Commander cube, and he has his own rules and shit for it?
Are you jealous?
I'm a little bit jealous. You can actually look it up. So there's an episode of the Command Zone podcast. They do the commander challenges and stuff like that. And on one episode of that, they get Brandon Sanderson on, and he brings in his cube that he's created his own custom cards for. And
true. Is that who that is? I thought he was just a miscellaneous nerd.
No, I mean he's a massive nerd, but he's done a lot for fantasy writing.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
episode.
just but stay tuned. Probably next time we record, I will just do a segment of me just being like, was it worth it? Yes, I can already say that. But Josh, how have you been nerding out?
So I have a hot tip for all the dungeon masters out there, and anyone who's creating a sort of a fantasy world that they need some music for, because YouTube delivered the goods the other day with a new channel that I have fallen in love with. The channel is literally just called Medieval Music, but
Yeah.
Says what it does on the tin, I guess.
yeah, my favorite. So there's like hour and a half long mixtapes on this channel, and they have a whole lot of those medieval style instrumental things. But my favorite one is a medieval hip hop mixtape, and then in brackets bardcore, and it literally has medieval reinterpretations of like Wu-Tang, Eminem, Tupac, Coolio, Outkast, and it is sick. It is I literally spent like an hour and a half listening to that, just like bopping along as like, playing like I didn't do like the cash rules, everything around me opens it up, and I love Wu-Tang so much. And it's like, but
cash rules everything around me with some loot. Yeah.
And that was like a harpsichord and shit, like it's all like fucking it's so good. It's so good. I got so excited about it, and so I went in a deep dive into medieval music, but medieval music covering hip hop songs. Which makes me all kinds of happy. So if you ever want to like fuck with your DM, just be like, oh, I've got the soundtrack covered this week, and just put it on and just see how long it takes for him to realize.
My DM's always too organized. He's got playlists for every scenario.
It's all built into Roll20. These DMs don't do anything these days.
No, we use Discord for our audio channels and just Roll20 for our video channels. But God, I love Roll20. That's weird.
Why don't you just use the video on Discord?
Because then we could see each other's faces when we're on Roll20.
Oh, I know, and I forget, because I've got two monitors. I just assume everyone has two monitors.
I do have two monitors. My desk just isn't big enough for the second monitor.
I mean, two monitors that I'm using.
But also up your nerd game, Margy, with the second monitor.
Benevolent fans out there, could someone buy me things? Thank you.
Did you not know that being a nerd is terribly classist?
100%. Yeah,
but I'm a poor person. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you can't be a nerd.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'll give up.
That's why education.
Grant, we did a whole episode about this. Haven't you been paying attention? Financial gatekeeping within the nerd industry. We did a whole episode on this, Grant. You need to go back and listen to that now.
And my second computer monitor was just given to me by a friend. So there you go.
I'm trying to figure out how to add a third monitor, because I have a third monitor, but I need it doesn't have an arm, like a way you can attach an arm to it. So I have to kind of rearrange my desk to put a third monitor out just because.
Duct tape.
Duct tape.
Just tape it to the wall. Yeah.
No, duct tape and a broom. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Everything. Honestly.
You can clean the monitor too, or you can clean with the monitor. You can watch something while you clean. You got to. We're going back. We're just going straight back to Pimp My Ride. You put some monitors on your fucking broom. You can watch Exhibit while you clean. Concentrate.
High quality cleaning tropes. I'm about that. I like it.
But talking about YouTube music, actually, have either of you two heard of the Relentless Doppelganger? So it's a YouTube bot that just plays bot-generated Arcspire songs forever. It's a live YouTube channel, and it's just always playing. Like, if you click on it right now, it'll be playing random bot-generated Arcspire songs.
Didn't the chill hip hop lo-fi beats to study and relax to stop streaming for the first time ever?
Oh, really?
It started streaming because it's always just like a live stream. It stopped briefly. This happened recently, and then it started up again. But I hate to admit it, it's my guilty study pleasure when I need to drown out.
Same.
When you need to drown out housemates having sex, it's what you put on. Because if I put on anything good,
that's when you put on Relentless Doppelganger. Just the Arcspire bot. One time, me and my friend were listening to it, and he did 47 cymbal grabs in a row. It just broke. It's it went for so long that we're like, oh, this is dumb, and then it came back around to be like, this is sick. He did so many cymbal grabs in a row. I'm like, this is cool again.
I've just looked that up on YouTube now, and I can see the Relentless Doppelganger live, and then underneath it is Beat Saber plays Relentless Doppelganger, and now I really want to find out how someone played Beat Saber to this music. So I'm gonna have to watch that video after.
That sounds like a seizure waiting to happen.
Oh my god, we need to get more relentless doppelgangers happening. Feed it different stems and get this going. I'm about this.
Yeah,
It
100%.
goes like it plays full on Arc Spice songs all the time. I don't reckon they even write music anymore. They just like cut like sections of this. I've actually thought about it, I'm like, oh, you know, I should just like copy sections of this bot because like it's gone forever after like unless you were there
your song
witnessing
features
it.
a sample from
Yeah.
Relentless Doppelganger, which is a 3-minute sample, and then you do a drum intro and then you fucking sort it. That's a song.
That's it. And yeah,
The future of songwriting is now.
If someone wasn't there watching the bot at the same time as me, they've never experienced that before. It's a completely unique experience.
I'm looking at this YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is Dada Bots is where this is from, and the other channels apart from Relentless, the other videos apart from Relentless Doppelganger, they have a live infinite bass solo, live at Mathcore Index Fest 2021, and then in brackets still. Live 24/7 Mathcore Index Fest 2001. We trained 16 neural nets on 16 albums from 16 Mathcore bands in 16 kilohertz. 4 times 4 equals 16, but no 4x4. This is ridiculous.
That sounds amazing. I bet there would be no 4/4 at any point except like a rest in 4/4 or something.
Yeah.
It's like only a 1-beat rest in 4/4 time before going back into like your 7/6
And it's probably
or
dotted as well, so it doesn't even feel normal.
They have a video that says HAL 9000 sings Regurgitation of Giblets by Carcass. Fuck, we're not doing the podcast anymore. I'm just gonna go and listen.
Sorry guys, like the ADHD calls.
It's cancelled.
Yeah. All right, let's get this over and done with as quickly as possible. I'm going to be speaking at triple speed so I can get onto this.
Well, Margy, you're in control of the medium beat for this episode. So
excellent. Well, you guys can just tune out and listen to that bot for a while, and I'll just talk to myself.
I wish I could make it play in the chat because we can't even get a strike because it's like it's not real.
True.
So it was my turn for either show and tell, a convince me I'm wrong, or hyperfixation party, and I instead went for severely underrated. I don't follow rules well. And my severely underrated is Clone High. It is an animated sci-fi sitcom from 2002. I discovered it when I was in high school. I thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I still do. I started watching it. It's all on YouTube for free. I started watching it while writing my notes for this, and I was just like having like just cackling to myself.
So what is I've never seen it, so please let us know what is Clone High actually about.
I'm coming to it. So just listen to my spiel and then you get the plot.
Right.
It was produced by Bill Lawrence of Scrubs fame and created by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, excellent film, and 21 Jump Street, and more other things. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So those who know about it, fucking get it.
Huge guests on every episode as well.
I'm getting to it. The premise is that they've brought back famous figures from throughout history by the board of shadowy figures in the American government as part of a secret military experiment. And now they're all teenagers at the same time at high school together. Key characters include Abe Lincoln, who is really indecisive and can't make a decision to save his life. It's great. Joan of Arc, who's just like a stereotypical goth girl. Great. Cleopatra, who's your super hot, popular cheerleader, etc., as expected. JFK, who is a womanizing jock. Gandhi.
JFK, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Gandhi, who's a hyperactive and inappropriate sex pest at times, and many others. Van Hoff features, the hideously deformed Marie Curie features because the radiation poisoning that killed her messed with her DNA. And she's brought back and she's really mutated. Jesus features as a side character, Jesus, who's a Hispanic kid who works in the motor shop it's so good. So it ran on MTV in the early 2000s until it was cancelled in a big international controversy where over 150 people went on hunger strike in India due to the depiction of Gandhi. And I mean, Gandhi's real good at finger guns and high fives in it, so he's not all bad. And to quote Gandhi from the show, hey, I'm not pro violence, but I am pro humor. When he's like being very inappropriate. It went back on air in MTV in 2016. It really does really good parodies of every like other teen drama at the time. So like every episode's introduced as tonight on a very special episode of Clone High, and the episode titles are all ridiculous. Like
So it's all like Degrassi.
escape to be a mountain, a rope of sand, and changes, the big prom, the sex romp, the season finale. It's got the best special guests like Michael J. Fox as Gandhi's remaining kidney, Marilyn Manson as himself. Zach Braff plays a variety of characters, and other people from Scrubs do too. Jack Black as Larry Hardcore, aka The Pusher. Mandy Moore is herself. My favorite is Tom Green in the really inappropriate ADD episode, which involves open mouth kissing between two famous historical figures, and the best parody of how people view neurodivergence ever. And really good classic ADHD topic changes, courtesy of Tom Green being like, "Who likes cheese?" and just sprinting off and like shit like that. Plastic bag, plastic bag, plastic bag. And it's like, it's great. So inappropriate. The music for it is fucking great. Theme tune is written by The Abandoned Pools, who are an actual band, and the soundtrack slaps. So it features like alt rock, indie rock, Midwest emo, like, and some hardcore, like a tiny bit of metalcore and pop punk in there, including the Alkaline Trio, American Football, Catch-22, Taking Back Sunday, Saves the Day, Thursday, Dashboard Confessional, The Get Up Kids, and heaps more. So it's got a really good soundtrack, and it's really smart with like, there's literally subliminal messages in some episodes. There's gags like telling Catherine the Great to get off her high horse. The diner they frequent being called the Grassy Knoll, and it's got JFK's car on the top with his corpse leaning over the side. It's like, and JFK driving along, being like, "Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys."
Instead of like popcorn chicken, do you just get like brain bits? Like...
Yeah, it's just like. Oh god. Well, it's got like famous assassination attempts from history like on the walls of the diner. It's so good.
Just Franz Ferdinand walking out the sandwich shop.
Eleanor Roosevelt's the gym teacher. There's anthropomorphic peanuts, adoptive families, an inept principal, a robot butler called Mr. Butlertron. And he's got a magic vest, and he calls everyone Wesley. And there's got to be a reboot, but it's been promised for ages. So, like, it's been promised a reboot since like 2016. But they did say in the press release for it, it says, like the original, Clone High will follow prominent historical figures who have been cloned and placed back in high school, including Abe Lincoln, Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, JFK, and more, as they face the trials and tribulations of normal teenage life. But there is no mention of Gandhi there, which would suck. But hopefully he gets replaced. Yeah. But anyway, Clone High, it's incredibly inappropriate, but it's fucking amazing. There's only like 6 episodes, so you just have to go watch it and just fall in love with the stupidity. And it's just...
I love that whole era of cartoons, like mid to late 2000s, and even like into like the early noughties, like everything that, you know, like...
My cat opened my door.
Like in like the end of like Cartoon Network, like, because I'm looking at a still of it now, and it has that very like, you know, Cartoon Network thing, but there was so many like hidden gems. Like one that I completely forgot about until like 2 days ago when I saw a list about it. Did you ever watch, either of you ever watch Frisky Dingo?
No, that doesn't sound like something I want to watch.
No.
It was pretty much like the whole premise of it. So it was about this like evil superhero, like this evil supervillain dude who was trying to take over the world, but it was like, it showed like how difficult it was to like get the budget to create the massive laser to do the thing. And so it was all like the shit that goes wrong when doing that. But the thing that I totally forgot about it is like his like nemesis, like the superhero is a dude called Awesome X, which is literally Archer. Like
I was going to say, I'm looking this up now. I'm like, this is the people who made Archer. This is the same animation.
It was the it must have been the precursor to Archer, because Awesome X is like the main hero in it, but he's like not as dumb as Archer.
And the mum's in it as well, but it looks.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fucking it's so funny. But I forgot that it fucking existed. Like there was the Mr. Hell show as well, which was that was like late 90s, I think. But the Mr. Hell show is so fucking funny, so
Oh
funny.
god.
But I love those hidden cartoon gems. I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
and check out because this Clone High just sounds like right up my alley. It sounds 100%
Oh,
up my alley.
it's so up your alley. It's so dumb, and every time you watch it, you just see more jokes, and it's like they just didn't hold back. Like they were like, should we try and not go as hard? Then they're like, nah, let's go harder. Like, let's get cancelled. Fuck it, let's go. So
If South Park can keep going, surely we can. It turns out they were wrong, but you'd think so. If South Park's on MTV, surely we can have Gandhi.
yeah, well, maybe they'll replace him with someone else. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to like think about the characters who are in it, and I'm like, gee, there's a lot of problematic portrayals in this show. Like,
Did either of you two ever watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
no.
I know what it is, but I never asked because it was like in that same thing as like Sea Lab and
Adult
Harvey
Swim.
Birdman and Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Aqua-
and all
yeah.
that. Yeah. No, I never watched that though. I watched like in that I watched heaps and heaps of Robot Chicken. It was probably like the main one that I watched. Metalocalypse obviously as well. But yeah, that whole like suite of Adult Swim shows was fucking amazing.
Oh, it's such an interesting story. It's something I'd like to talk about this podcast. Just like how Adult Swim came to be, is essentially they just had all these old Hanna-Barbera cartoons that they purchased. That just came with something else that they bought, and they're like, "Oh, we need to do something with these. Why don't we just make a bunch of new stupid cartoons with these '60s characters that people kind of know, and just make it nothing like what that was?" It's like, oh. Why don't we just make Jay Leno, but it's Space Ghost talking to his villains, interviewing Slash, but he doesn't know he's on this cartoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could 100% do a whole episode on like underrated cartoons because there is
just
I could
just
go on forever about
cartoons.
them.
Honestly, Clone High. Go watch it. Tell me what you think. And if you don't love it, I don't care. Fuck you. You're wrong. I'm right.
I think just from the name, I just always assumed it's like the name makes it sound like Spy Kids. Like it makes it sound like some sort of like kids TV show. I was like, but you've sold me on it now, so I'm gonna go and watch all of Clone High tonight.
And their portrayal of open mouth kissing pretty much sums up my autistic attitude to seeing people kiss in public. It's just like it's great. Oh jeez.
Wonderful.
I love
Wonderful. Well, we're going to move in to the main topic of the evening, which is a topic very close to both my co-host hearts because they're both trolls and they like to bully me. So this episode is called "Don't Feed the Trolls." Yeah, I made sure Grant was drinking while I did that, so he'd spit his beer everywhere. No, but it is. We really have to look at the phenomenon of trolling, hating, review bombing in today's current age because it is such a thing, especially again in both of our cultures, in both heavy music culture and in nerd culture. Like the trolls really kind of are rife. It's that, I guess it's that like that double-edged sword of the internet where it has brought us so much closer together and we have so much more interaction with so many people we didn't think we ever would have interaction with, but then it's given people a platform, and then once people get a reaction, they get their opinions, they get validated inside of them, and then their platform gets bigger, and it's just like it feeds their ego. It turns into this whole like just sort of like gross just toilet flush, just getting deeper and deeper into the shit of things. But
I love that analogy. That's very nice.
That was really beautiful.
Eloquent.
Very well put.
It is. It's exactly what it is.
There is psychological evidence for that.
Yeah. And I don't doubt you have plenty prepared for us, Margy, because that's what we have the faith in you. You're the science nerd.
Yeah,
I
imagine
the psychology nerd.
I'm waiting for some Colin Robertson psychology.
My cat's behind me on the bed. She's licking her own bumhole, and I have a tattoo of her doing the exact same thing. So that's what pets are for.
Bowie. But Margy, what is the psychology behind this?
Oh, okay. I've got like a little definition regarding the malicious online behavior that we call trolling. According to Dr. Claire Hardacker, a troll is a computer user who constructs the identity of sincerely wishing to be part of a group in question, but whose real intention is to cause disruption and or trigger conflict for the purposes of their own amusement. So that's a definition of troll. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, they don't always want to be a part of the group. I just thought it was an interesting definition.
I wonder if that's kind of like the original definition, and maybe like what we've called a troll now has expanded from that.
Or maybe that's kind of like
it's a sub definition. It is one version of a troll for sure, but it's like, it's a cave troll versus a wood troll kind of thing, or a bridge troll or something like that. It's like, we have the different kinds of trolls.
Great, yeah, we have a cave troll.
Like if I was thinking of a troll like 10 years ago, that's what I'd think of what a troll is. But I just felt maybe it's something that's evolved, or maybe our threshold for what a troll is has decreased. I don't know.
So, but they generally do stuff like provoking, upsetting, harming others via inflammatory messages and posts. Yeah. And there's two kinds. There's the type who target public figures with big social media followings. And then that allows their hateful messages to be rebroadcast into a wider audience. If like the target of their trolling, who's famous, or their followers or the news or anything, catches word of it, that spreads it. And then the other type are people who have negative social potency, which means they enjoy causing harm to others. And they just get pleasure from upsetting those they target with abuse. So like, and if their victim responds, it encourages them to continue. So that's more like your standard, just day-to-day trolling, just random person on internet, like, hey, fuck you.
Fuck you, buddy.
It's
fuck you, guy.
It's not just Schadenfreude, like why people enjoy it. Like it's like enjoying the suffering of others, I feel, is like when, I don't know, it's like a lighter hearted term than what trolling is. But there is research that shows that gender, psychopathy, and sadism are all significant independent predictors of trolling. So if you're male and you have high psychopathic traits or high sadistic traits, you're more likely to troll. The most powerful predictor, though, is sadism, which makes sense because if you enjoy hurting others, the more likely you are to troll. And surprisingly, high self-esteem and high sadism are also a marker for trolling, wherein normally cyberbullying has been associated with low self-esteem.
Yeah,
so,
I would have thought it would have been people trying to like get power that they can't get in person.
This is an Australian researcher who's like an expert on the topic, and
so she was probably just patting kangaroos then.
But
I wonder, because like that, I guess, because that was definitely like my thought is like, I like the people that I used to do it are like obviously quite miserable. So it's like I wonder how much of that's high self-esteem versus like ego, because you could be a miserable person and like have a massive ego.
I think that's the thing as well. Like you can hate yourself, but you can still have an ego about you. It's narcissism is one of the traits. Psychopathy, sadism, narcissism, and Machiavellism are called the dark tetrad, and they're used a lot in social psychology, where people do bad things. They're trying to explain it.
Can we just for a second just be like, poor Machiavelli, like.
Yeah,
he wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad.
It really just picked him.
Yeah, like he was just like, you know what? If you wanted to really do this in a bad way, this is how you do it. He didn't say this isn't my views. This isn't how I do it. But it's like, this is how you would do it. And
I
now
wouldn't
forever
mind
it's just like
named after me.
Yeah,
even
now
if it's bad.
Anything that's shady is like, oh, it's Machiavelli. He's like, no, it's not.
He's like, why?
You asked me and I answered. Like that's all he's done.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who seek stimulation are more likely to troll because that's an easy way to get like get into an argument with someone on the internet. There's your entertainment. Other things that contribute to trolling include the online disinhibition effect, which is the perceived anonymity of being behind a screen. That's why people think that I'm outgoing when I am on the internet, and then they meet me in real life, and I'm like, so like Egg Boy, who did the thing in real life, smashed the egg onto that shit politician's head. is a true hero. He was not hiding behind a screen, but he was filming it. Tribalism contributes, so it's easy to jump on a bandwagon. Personal ideologies contribute. So if you feel like your personal beliefs are in jeopardy, you're more likely to lash out. So sometimes trolling isn't just like, it's kind of has like another purpose.
It's a reaction to people feeling like they're being attacked, whether it's right
Yeah.
or wrong.
And also, if someone has high levels of cognitive empathy and high levels of psychopathy, they're more likely to troll, because cognitive empathy means they know what hurts people. They they can cognate what causes suffering in others. And then psychopathy just means they don't care. And loneliness can also make a person troll. So psychopathy, bit of everyday sadism, loneliness, excellent troll cookpot. And trolling can end up being a form of conditioning as well. Not saying that like every person would find demeaning people rewarding and a good reinforcement, but this can be the experience of people with stronger sadistic tendencies. So like if you look at it from like operant conditioning, where it's rewards and punishments to influence behavior, trolling behavior feels rewarding due to the sadistic nature of the troll. So you get pleasure from experiencing a rise out of the target, positive reinforcement, and then the pleasure experienced by avoiding or distracting from aspects of your life that you don't want to engage with, that's negative reinforcement. And then there's also some like Pavlovian or classical conditioning, where people with sadistic tendencies tend to get that salivation when the bells rang, like when they are about to engage in trolling or when they find a trolling target, they get a rush.
To be fair, when you said Pavlovian, I was feeling that. I was like, ooh, Pavlova.
What did Pavlov ever do so wrong to have a cake named after him? So yeah, like there's so many theories into, like, obviously, you know, there's a lot of more theories into it, like different attachment styles that people show can influence whether they're likely to become a bully. And the anonymity theory might lead to more passive aggressive trolling. But overall, trolls more likely to be boys, more likely to be psychopathic or sadistic in some way. And, you know, maybe it's better that they're trolling than off killing people. I don't know. Like,
but the one that's like the reason that stuck out to me, that, you know, of everything you were just talking about, was the tribal one, because the tribal one's really interesting as well, where it's like, I don't know if it's exactly the same sort of psychology as that whole like Stanford prison experiment thing, but it's like when like
sort of experiment.
Yeah, those whole group thing sort of, because I've seen that, like I've been in, you know, those private Facebook groups with a whole bunch of like dudes from the music scene, and there's all the old dudes, and then there's like dudes in a gender neutral sense, but like there's the old dudes from the scene, and then there's the young dudes from the scene, and like the young dudes are like they want to get the appraisal of like the old guard, you know, and so it's like someone will say something kind of edgy, and someone else will say something kind of edgy because like, oh, this person's saying something kind of edgy, and it's like some of them probably mean it, and other ones just want to like be part of the group, and they want to be they want to be part of recognized, and it's like, so they have that whole like tribal experience of like, oh, I just want to be part of the group, so I'm going to be mean even though I'm not actually mean person,
I'm going to join in. And it's made easier because they're behind a screen and there's a perceived lack of consequence when you're using a computer. Like telling someone to go get fucked in real life when you're close to their face, it's way different than telling someone to get fucked online.
Feels way better, to be honest.
Oh my God, it feels so much better. But like you don't, like, you know, like if you physically attack someone, you'd be like, okay, shit, they're going to call the police. But like if you verbally attack someone over the internet, it feels less real. Like, because of that disconnect,
the lack of consequence,
and because we're so used to the internet, like we talk over the internet all day, every day, like about anything and everything, like just sending memes or whatever. So like, you know, it's the magic of being physically separated from people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think, you know, like I honestly believe a lot of it has to do with like the worsening mental health crisis in this world. Not so much that people with mental health issues are just going to be dicks, but it's like when the world is just becoming more miserable and people are becoming more and more miserable, they're becoming more and more insecure with themselves.
Yeah.
It like I know a lot of very successful people, and I don't see people are very comfortable in themselves, very successful, and I don't see any of them punching down, bullying, like trolling any sort of things. It's always the people that like there is that sole thing of just like people want to bring people down because this person's success reflects my failures, and so I'm going to bring you back down.
Tall poppy syndrome, especially in Australia, is super bad.
Yeah. So I mean,
bad.
like, and when I say psychopathy and sadism, I don't mean that the people who do it are completely psychopathic or completely sadistic. They're words that have been taken by pop culture and been influenced.
Yeah, it's like ADS, it's gradient.
Yeah, ASD.
Sorry,
it's
yes.
like dyslexia as well. It's also on a gradient. It's on a scale.
I'm also awful at reading, so maybe that's ADS. That's aim down sight. That's just how many video games I play.
But like people with psychopathic tendencies are the ones that I'm talking about. So people who are more manipulative and stuff like that, and people with sadism have a more difficult time with interpersonal relations, and stuff like watching people get hurt or hurting people can bring them joy. And maybe that's from growing up on the internet and watching videos of people being beheaded. I don't know. Like, I could do it. Like, the internet is I think the
difference is if you find joy in it. I think that's the defining factor.
Yeah, maybe it's their happiest memory gathering around a computer in the computer room.
Gathering around fucked.
Watching a video. I don't know. But like it's pretty rampant. So in 2017, over a quarter of Americans who took part in a survey admitted to engaging in some form of online trolling at some point. Like not shit posting, because like shit posting, but like it's like over a quarter of Americans
is that
trolling.
Is that the like currently doing or have doing? Because I'm like
they have trolled at some point. Yeah,
I'm sure like most people would have at some point in at least some way that they would probably define as trolling. Like
absolutely trolled so many Christians that have been posting things, and I'm like, how about
that
this part
doesn't count.
How about this Bible verse? And they're like, no reply all the time.
I've got one for you, Josh. This is nice. This is a bit anti-capitalism. In 2019, the Australia Institute estimated trolling and online abuse had cost the Australian economy up to $3.7 billion in health costs and lost income.
Round of applause.
Right? So maybe trolling will cause the end of capitalism, but that's a shit ton of money. That was in 2019.
No, but
that was pre-COVID.
But would that not be money spent in the health system? Wouldn't it?
I mean, that's a direct effect of trolling.
I'm gonna be honest, I might have missed a certain fact in there. I just heard like loss of production in the capital chain.
In lost income and health costs, but it cost the Australian economy, which we all like. But
is that obviously I'm not against socialism at all, but is that not more a dent at socialism because it's the social tax that we've paid that's actually taken the hit, the $3 billion hit?
If that's the case, then I remove all my
I revoke my claps.
I thought we were talking about losing within like the private shop. Take it back. Nah, if it was the private sector that lost this money, then I'm very happy.
Unfortunately, I'm sure because they're the ones bullying. They're the ones doing the bullying. For sure.
What I found interesting too is men are more likely to be harassed in online gaming environments. Makes sense. Like I've heard Call of Duty.
My
Xbox lobby. Ugh.
My go-to is telling someone that their mother wears board shorts.
But then women report higher rates of more extreme abuses and related impacts such as stalking or sexual harassment.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the reasons why research and statistics is so hard on this, because there's trolling and then there's like cyberbullying, I feel like, is being phased out, and then there's like online harassment, and
See,
it's like, where
I
does
just
that cross the line? Like, you know,
I
if
kind of
you're
disagree
sexually
with this
harassing someone.
cyberbullying because, like, I know a family member who was getting bullied because she wasn't able to play Minecraft before 6 o'clock, so she wasn't allowed to play with the kids at school because they wouldn't let her in the group because she wasn't allowed to play Minecraft before a specific time. How
Yeah.
wild is that? Like, you can't play a
So
specific game
ridiculous.
before a specific time, so you can't hang with us. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
and
kids
just like
these days is fucking petty.
and this is it's the
That's so
pressure that would
petty.
put on the parents as well because they're like trying to do the right thing. It's like, oh, I'm trying to get you engaged, read a book before this time. You play your games after you play the chores, but now you're being
I don't know.
bullied for
After
not
you
being
play,
able to
after
play
you
your
play the
games.
chores,
Yeah, but after you do the chores. Well, I
use the
guess
broom with the monitor
you're
on
playing Minecraft. Kids just yearn to be in the coal mines.
it. They really do.
The kids, they yearn for the mines.
So like what have your personal experiences with trolling been like? Because I haven't had too many, I guess, but like if you want to talk about them, or you can give other people's examples. Like,
Well, I'd say for me personally, because I guess you probably haven't noticed on here, like I have a pretty big piss take sensibility about me. So if someone's trying to troll me, it wouldn't bother me. Like bullying is obviously because trolling is a form of bullying, but I'd say like it's not like the cyberbullying and trolling are also two different things. Like there's like a attack, where trolling could just be less sinister, I think.
yeah, I think having that attachment to trolling as being kind of like less sinister, I think what I can tell from researching it is that they're kind of combining the two. So like
Yeah,
cyberbullying is trolling and
because
trolling is cyberbullying.
it is, but yeah, like I'd say like it is, but I feel like in my head, like I have like two different categories of like trolling is like taking the piss and sometimes taking it too far, whereas cyberbullying is like it's a calculated attack.
Yeah, well, and I guess that's the thing though as well. It would all depend on your particular mentality and your mental fortitude when it comes to things like that. Because I think like what someone would consider water for ducks back, other would consider like quite brutal. Like I hate to use the term that I am a quote unquote known person, but like in
you have a blue tick next to your name on Instagram. You're famous.
I have a blue tick next to my name on Instagram. Apparently, that's the thing that people.
Where's
keep
our
bringing
blue
up.
ticks?
Yeah, what's my blue tick? I want a blue tick.
But like, I remember when I used to do the middle of the nights on Triple J. So you do like the 1 a.m. till the 6 a.m. shift.
Oh yeah, that's blue tick. that's
that's where you start. You start in the mines. And like you'd be playing, like I was playing obviously a lot of stuff that I didn't listen to, but he's not like you can come back and be like, that was a new Birds of Tokyo song, didn't that suck? Like
wish it was Carnival.
Yeah.
I'd rather be playing the new Carnival right now. That's what your shirt should say.
Wouldn't we all? But yeah, and so like I remember coming back from a talk break and being like, that was the new track, like saying it like I'm excited about it, but not saying that was the best. I fucking love this track. Like that's the new banger from Birds of Tokyo. Moved on with my life. And this dude texted in just being like, oh, that song sucks. You've got shit taste in music, blah, 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 blah. And I was like I've used to that after this many years, but even then I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And then like 5 minutes later he sends another text and has another go at me, and I was like, it sucked for like this first little bit where I'm just going like, all right dude, you can fucking stop now. But then I'm not exaggerating, that was probably at about 2 a.m. At 4 a.m. he was still texting me, and I was like, it has gone from being hurtful to being sad at this stage. Like you have put your entire night into this. Like this is actually just kind of sad at this point in time. And
it's
so
like, you were the only person texting this line.
Yeah, there is like literally the only people listening at that hour, people working in the mines, bakers, and people who take a lot of drugs. Like that's it.
It's like, I might as well give you my personal number because there's no one else texting anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
So be a dick pic.
Yeah. And and so there's that level, and then there's like, people that'll comment on the Short Fast Loud Instagram saying like, oh, you played this song sucks and whatever. There is, you'll get the occasional thing like that. Then I'm like, I think for me, it has to be very much like I have come to the acceptance that I'm never ever going to program 2 hours worth of music that every single person is going to love every single song. Like
No.
that's quite literally impossible, and I have to be comfortable with that, because if I'm trying to please everybody, then I'm going to fail and I'm going to make myself miserable. And so yeah, it's definitely been a mission of mine to be like, am I proud of the show that I've done? Am I proud of the mix that I've put together? Am I making sure as much representation of genres, of sexes, of backgrounds, of everything I possibly can? Am I making sure that there is enough coverage in that? And as long as I can sleep with myself, like and maybe this is is kind of one of the perks of being a heartless, soulless spurg, who the idea of being alone for the rest of my life really doesn't bother me that much. Is like I honestly don't care too much what people think about me. Like, I want people to like me. I'm always going to be a nice person. I'm always going to be polite. But like, yeah, other people's opinions of me now, like it never used to be this way. You go back 10 years and I cared what every single fucking person thought about me. And I wanted to make every single person happy on the face of the planet. And obviously
it's doing that is what changes you, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really, really big thing. And obviously that took many years of, therapy and working through why I was, people pleasing and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I feel like these days I know the people that I love me. And I know that if we had an issue, we could talk it out and we'll get back to some sort of round. So like, when whatever some stranger says about me, for the most part, is water off a duck's back. But even like with professional experience in that and professional support in that, it still sucks. Like, it's still like, you'll hear it and it's still like, oh, that hurts. No,
I can't handle criticism of any type. Like, I do not read feedback on assignments if I can help it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have the emotional resilience of, like, I don't know, the resistance bacteria has to an antibiotic. None. I was like, what's that? Oh jeez, I'm really.
I love that was what you ended on, though. That was my favorite. It was a very good ending.
Something that is very quickly failing.
It's like I do like RODBT, a kind of therapy, and one of the modules was like learning how to take criticism, because it's something that like I have trouble with. And like, so I think trolling, I'm like, meh. But then like, if it's like a criticism, I'm like, oh dear. Oh.
But it's also like being like spurgy and having the difference between an explanation and an excuse. To everyone, it's the same thing. But to me, it's an explanation and excuse is completely different things.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I did it, but it doesn't mean it's right. But I still have to say why I did it. It's an explanation, not an excuse.
I did it because I'm an arsehole.
But no,
is it right to be an arsehole? No.
You can argue it both ways.
Yeah.
There are times where you kind of have to be for yourself. But no, I think, Margy, what you're saying as well is like, it's when it comes to especially like criticism as well. And it's the question, like, I put the question about there is everyone's opinion valid? And I think no, absolutely not. Everyone is welcome to an opinion. You're welcome to have an opinion, but there's a difference between having an opinion. As they say,
there's that thing about assholes and opinions.
Everybody's got one. But it's the idea of a valid opinion. So when it comes to like people criticizing me as a radio host, like, they're not radio hosts. Like, I will take criticism from podcasters, from TV presenters, from other radio producers, like other radio hosts, like people that like are on the same sort of thing. Like, yeah, other podcasters, YouTubers and stuff like that, I would 100% take.
Would you call it criticism or feedback if it's from a peer?
Well, I mean, if they were criticizing me, I would take it to heart more.
Yeah.
Like, I think like if it was someone that I know has knowledge in my particular field, then I think I would take that criticism more to heart than a brain surgeon.
But are we talking like criticism, like your shit, or feedback? Like,
no. So like, that's what I'm saying. If it was specifically criticism, like if it was just someone criticizing me, I think I would be affected more if I valued their opinion. If I said your opinion on this subject is valid, then I would be like, ow, that hurts. But if I invalidate someone's opinion because you're a brain surgeon or whatever, it's like, cool, I'm not going to give you my opinion on your surgery techniques because my opinion on that subject is invalid.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
You could have an opinion about it, but
it's just uneducated.
No, I'll have an opinion about it, but it is an invalid opinion because it doesn't come with any knowledge or experience or anything like that.
I think that's the thing about what makes something trolling as opposed to just also just being a shit on the internet. Like, trolling's malicious. Like it's not just like, I don't know, engaging that dumb Christian person about abortion because sometimes engaging people on the internet is a good way of doing it, but like it depends if you do it in like an educated or an uneducated way. Like, I remember I posted something
I
about.
can be pretty snarky sometimes.
Well, that's good. We need someone to be snarky. I posted something on like Facebook or Instagram or something about getting my second vaccine, and I was super excited because, you know, we'd been living as Victorians, we'd been living inside for like, I don't know, it feels like 10 years. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, and some hippie that I know started going on about how they don't have a right to control us, and this is herd control. And then some people were making some really good points to this anti-vax person about, like, you know, COVID and stuff. And she called them trolls and then kind of trolled them by calling them like, you're just cogs in the machine, and like went off at them and called them trolls. And I was like, actually, if anything there, you kind of trolled them. Like, and you were asking for it by like going onto a post that's pro-vaccination and being like, hey, fuck you for getting vaccinated and being safe and using your brain. I was like, I'm not going to engage with this. I have a science degree. I know more about this than you. Like, no. Like, don't try to explain science to me, you fucking idiot. Yeah. But like, yeah.
Like, I think you could definitely debate like like how ethical it is to, like, I guess you technically weren't forcing people, but I guess there was loss of privileges if you didn't get it. Like, there's an efficacy to be talked about there, but at the same time, like,
going outside is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, but you also like
Victorian government.
You wouldn't think you'd be seeking out people with the opposite opinion and attacking them for saying that they've already finished. You can't unvaccinate yourself, so what's the point?
Yeah,
you can't change anything.
You can with enough bleach. I believe anything's possible. Yeah. There's one thing that I learned.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing as well. It's like, it's like people will like attach multiple subjects together. Like, like the ethics of forcing an entire city to stay inside is one thing, and then, you know, vaccinating for the safety of everyone is quite a different thing. And so people would like combine the two because they didn't really have a strong argument on either. So they're just kind of like, I'm just gonna bleh, and just see what happens.
But then also going out of your way to find people who've already done it, you can't go back. So like you're not convincing them of anything. Like it's already done.
But I think that's it as well. Like, now if someone disagrees with me on the internet, like, it doesn't happen much because apparently I'm intimidating. I'm a baby. I cry like most days. But like, if someone does disagree with me about something, I'm like, whatevs. Like, dude, you don't know what my internal monologue is like. You got nothing on my inner critic. So
yeah, I think you get to that age though. I definitely remember like 10 years ago, I had to be right about everything, and I had to make sure that everyone knew that I was right about everything. And now it's just like, I know that I'm right about everything. I don't need to convince anyone of that. I'm fine. Yeah, cool. 2 plus 2 is, if you want to tell me that 2 plus 2 equals 7, sure. Why not?
You believe what you want to believe. Just please don't be in my life.
So,
dumb.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect my life, you can keep believing that for all I give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I did get online bullied in my Settlers of Catan game.
No.
Where people
not Settlers of Catan.
I did, and I was playing Settlers of Catan online when I had COVID, and I was really sad and lonely, and I made a gamble on like my positioning of cities. I was like, theoretically, this is going to work really well, but like 6s and 8s weren't being rolled, which they should be rolled. Statistics. Anyway, and then these people were just being mean to me on there, being like, lol, have you ever played Catan before Blue Lay and stuff? And I was like, I cried and I left the game. That was my really mature response to it. Like,
I don't know how you get, like, how someone could feel like they have to bully someone in a decidedly non-violent game. Like, by purpose.
In Settlers of Catan of all games. Like, fuck me. Like I'd expect it more in Minecraft than in Settlers of Catan.
Like, you're not playing Risk. Like, you're playing.
It's like I'd expect it more in Scrabble than Settlers of Catan.
Yeah.
Like, because Scrabble gets heated.
Yes, because you got them wordy know-it-alls with their big words and their syllables and Zs.
And their spelling.
Yeah.
we don't believe in spelling in these parts.
No.
But like, I don't know. Like, I do know people who get, and then that's like another thing as well, like online harassment, which I don't know if you guys get online harassed, like unwanted sexual attention or anything, but like I get it occasionally. They'll just like be like some dude just decides got to reply to every story that she posts and got to just try and get her, and I'm just like, and I try and be polite for a while, and then I just kind of just stop replying, and I'm just like, but like, I know that people can be really persistent when they do stuff like that and be really scary and aggressive too.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think I've had it that bad, but I know people
can
have
get
had it
bad.
that bad. It's like borderline stalking. Like,
yeah, it's a little weird. Like I've definitely got like the odd reply guy in my like other inbox folder, but
Reply
it's more
guy.
like there's a reply guy, and like most of the guys, there is the odd girl in there as well, but most of them are guys. But it's like it's definitely like a notice me senpai kind of thing, and then a notice me senpai. No,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I know, even if I don't know the person, like, I'll have a chat for a while. I don't know. I like finding out things. I'm curious, but then if they start getting weird, I'm like, no, no, that's my job. I'm the socially inept one.
Fair.
Yeah. So trolling is just, it's such a fine line between being a shit poster and being a troll, and
I
being a
think
shit stirrer and being
the
a troll.
malicious intent is probably for me like the line that separates like shit posting to like hardcore stuff.
Because if someone picked you out and every day were making malicious comments about you, like, hey Josh, you really fucking suck at programming, like, and you get that and you know that on Thursday mornings you're going to get a message after your Short Fast Loud show, and then they go, oh yeah, I listened to your new podcast episode, what the fuck do you call that? Oh, I saw what was that deck build that you did for Commander, like, was that, and like, so every time that like you posted something, you had this person, you'd be like, it could really wear you down, but also just block them. What the fuck? Like, I'm not saying any of that is true about you, Josh.
But
I
no,
guess
it is 100% true. It's like even if they are quite light-hearted things, like there is a particular person who comments quite often, and it's never anything positive. It's never anything like harsh or like too mean or anything like that. But the consistency
it's just
of
like
it as well.
pessimistic.
Yeah, it's the consistency of it, even though it's nothing harsh, does feel worse for some strange reason. Like if one person just came out like I'd never seen them before, they're like, fuck you suck, whatever, I'd be like, okay, cool. But yeah, I think it's like that just like that little digging away is like, yeah, it's the consistency of it feels
like,
more
what
like
are you doing? Are you sitting around waiting for me to get better? Like, why are you still here?
like,
yeah,
and what are you getting from this?
And maybe that's the difference between shit posting and trolling. Is trolling is personal, whereas shit posting's like I'm gonna fucking fight to the day that I die that Limp Bizkit are the greatest band on the face of the planet. And I know that people are always gonna disagree, and we can shit post and disagree about Limp Bizkit and ska music and the fucking Star Wars prequels and whatever. But it's when someone says your music taste is bad because you like this, and you suck because you like this. Like when it becomes personal, I think when it becomes,
because it doesn't even have anything to do with the music
because of what you've done, or and you're like because I think that's the thing. Like that's when it gets really bad. It's like if it's persistent, like especially if a troll finds a target who interacts, that creates their feedback, like, or who reacts, like that creates that feedback loop for them, like that. They get the sweet emotional release, and it's conditioning. And that can really have an impact on its victims, obviously, like, but I think it's about like recognizing as well, like, just like if someone's doing that and you know that you're gonna have that fucking person saying something, you just fucking block them.
Well, yeah, I think that's like, it kind of brings us nicely into like the last question of this, which is like, what are the best methods of combating this?
But I guess like you could block people, but that only works like if you're like our age, or if it's like kind of like a someone that's like adjacently known, but like say if you're at school and you're getting cyberbullied, you can't block them because they're still bullying you to all the other people that know you, and you can't stop that.
Well,
But
and that's the thing. Like a troll can take it. Like you can stop your direct interaction with them online, but they could still be fucking posting about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
and you can't
yeah.
control that. You can't
Like
get
Grant is the worst guitarist of all time,
it's just a fact.
and you're just like fucking sick. All right, great, but like you could cut that out, but then they feed each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like the block button should be everyone's best friend. Like I always tell people all the time, it's just like block and delete, block and delete, block and delete. Like because I believe that's the end of the earth. But like, I mean, yeah, Grant, you're 100% right. Like that only goes so far for certain people as well. I mean, for me, like the best methods to combating trolls is killing them with kindness. Because if you,
I thought you were
like,
just gonna say killing them. I legit
them,
was like
pause, murdering them. Don't do that, kids. Murder is bad. But no, it's I've found like I've had people like come at me on a whole bunch of different things, and I'll just like politely interact with them back, and like because they're trying to get a rise out of me, and so as soon as I like don't give them what they want, and I like just make them realize that they're just being an asshole, and like the amount of people that I've just like stopped in their tracks because I'm just like politely replying, but like that's actually a really good point you're making, man. But like what I meant to say is something like this, and have you thought about this? And like killing them with kindness is honestly actually like a lot of fun. I really enjoy making people feel like they're being an asshole and like kind of realizing shit inside themselves. It was like it's not so much for trolling.
Being nice to people, so that's a problem for me.
That's fair. That's fair. Because it's like it sort of bleeds into like I remember like it was really good for like the example was like combating people telling racist jokes, and you just tell them that you don't understand it. When they tell it to you, just be like, oh, I don't get it, can you explain it more? And they try and explain it more, and it's like, oh, I still don't get it, can you explain it more? And they've realized just how like because they have to like go into depth about what they actually mean, and they're just like, oh, this is bad. It's like, yeah, but you just like
fucked up.
Yeah,
man.
like,
are you sure you're not a dad?
Yeah, like feigning ignorance, killing them with kindness, like literally the worst thing you can do is get angry and try and troll them back.
Yeah,
because it's like that's the
what
one
they
thing
want.
that they want, and so it's like finding ways to not give them what they want. So yeah, like I said, killing them with kindness, fucking feigning ignorance, or like the block and delete. I feel like in this day and age, the block and delete button is severely underused in so many different ways, and obviously there are cases where like I've had friends where like they'll block and delete a dude on every single thing and like fucking block their phone number as well, and they'll get another phone number just to message, or they'll start another, and that's when it goes from like trolling to stalking, and that's a very different thing. That's not trolling, that's just straight stalker, and that's
if someone is literally stalking, harassing you, like if someone is fully harassing you as well, like if it ever goes beyond commenting on your social media posts and DMing you, like if it's ever becomes direct threats or anything like that, screenshot and fucking contact someone and just be like, because you can like take, because that is, even though it happens online, like don't forget that it's still happening. If
it's all evidence.
Exactly, collect that shit.
On this show we firmly believe in ACAB, but report everything to them in that particular case anyway. So it's all on record. Like report everything you possibly can. Go back to them.
I wrote ACAB in my notes as my reminder to say
ACAB 100%. ACAB, but like for things like that, take it to the cops and then go the next day with a new piece of evidence and the next day with a new piece of evidence until they fucking do their jobs like they fucking should be doing their jobs, because ACAB.
Exactly.
For those who don't know as well, that does stand for all cops are bastards. But
all cats are beautiful.
All cats are beautiful.
All corn
as well.
are wash buttered. I'm done. That's okay. Crawl out of here.
Corn are wash buttered. Are wash buttered.
I'm washed, comma, buttered. It's poetic language.
Wow.
This is why I play bass and I don't write lyrics.
But we're on Margy's wonderful note right then. I think we're gonna like round out that segment there and move into the final beat of this week's show, which is a fun one, and I'm keen to hear both of your responses on this. I feel like I know what both your responses are going to be, but we're going to check it out anyway. It's every week on the Northside Nerds Instagram on a Friday afternoon. I post the hilarious piece of Photoshop that I've done for this week, and this week we're going back to who would win in a fight.
Always a good question.
Always a good question of who would win in a fight. And this week, it is the ultimate showdown of gizmos and gadgets. Who would win in a fight? Rick Sanchez versus Batman. Grant, let's start with you. Who's going to win in a fight between Rick and Batman?
I'd love to say Batman, but just the nature of the way that Rick and Morty is written, there is absolutely no ceiling for the ridiculousness of what can be achieved. So in that way, the same as Goku, just the way it's written, they're always going to be the most powerful, because if they're not, they'll just write them to be more powerful. So there's no way Batman can win, because Batman is actually facing the writer of Rick Sanchez, not Rick Sanchez.
That's such a meta answer. So meta. It's great.
But it's true.
I love it.
Margy, what about you? Who's winning in a fight between Rick and Batman?
All right, so here we've got two choices. We have Batman, who's rich, and then Rick Sanchez, who's a genius, and very ingenious as well with cheap solutions, like as we saw with that pickle episode. I don't know, and he does everything in his garage. Where does he get the money? Yeah, exactly. So I'm obviously going Sanchez. Like, he would just shoot Batman. Batman doesn't use guns.
True. That's the thing as well. I guess is it to the death, because Batman just wouldn't kill him.
And okay, also, like, Rick Sanchez has like a personal body armor self-defense thing built around him. Like, he wears like a personal defense system. So like, Batman tries to wrap him in a rope and he just burns it off, and then it's just like, fuck you, and shoots him. Like, I see no situation where it wouldn't end in Batman being vaporized,
What's Batman's
jellified.
prep time?
Well, I mean, I feel like Batman's probably already got notes on Rick Sanchez. Like,
he has to.
Batman's always got notes on everyone.
Sanchez doesn't live in Gotham City.
But no, I think that's the thing. Is like, I think.
What do you think, Josh? Yeah.
I think Batman would be Rick Sanchez's greatest adversary, specifically because especially in like the Justice League comics and stuff like that, it's revealed that Batman has a dossier on how to kill every single member of the Justice League. He has a way to kill Superman, to kill Green Lantern, to kill Cyborg, to kill Martian Manhunter, and he even has a dossier on how to kill himself. That, like, if he went evil for some reason, the Justice League would be able to open this dossier and figure out how to defeat Batman.
Switch the label on his tablets.
No, I believe for him it was like play the psychological aspect of like him losing
his parents.
No, that's already been played out enough.
But like he lost. Was it Tim Drake? He lost one of the Robins. Joker killed. I think.
Doesn't Superman just come up and be like, "Yo, my mum has the same name as yours," and like, you're right. We should stop fighting because we're both orphans. That.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like Batman already has a very extensive dossier on Rick Sanchez and has found out his greatest weakness. However, because Rick Sanchez has the ability to travel through dimensions, I think Rick wins, because Rick has access to more Batmans than Batman has access to Ricks.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Even if Batman beats one, there's just another Rick.
That's the thing. It's like, if it was just one dimension and Rick didn't have the ability to go and check out all the other Batmans, so Rick's file is bigger specifically because he has access to dimensional jumps. If Batman had Rick's dimension gun, then the fight would be pretty fucking even.
I don't think so. I really don't think Batman stands up against the kind of crazy shit that like Sanchez would do. Like,
Batman has a solution to everything. Everything. His greatest detective. He has access to gajillions of dollars and all these things.
What if Sanchez opens and then closes a portal on Batman when Batman's halfway through, cuts him in half, job done.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like, portal gun aside, the fight would be fair. Specifically because the portal gun exists, I feel like Margy's just disappeared.
Dropped out. She disagrees.
She disagreed so much she disappeared.
Oh, she's back. Not yet.
I just got kicked out. That's all right.
We just thought you got so mad at me that you just left. That was the end of the podcast right then.
I just rage quit. Confirm.
Love it. I love it. But yeah, I think Rick would win, but only because he has access to many more Batmans than
Large
Batman has
sample
access.
size.
Large sample size. He's able to study Batman more than Batman's able to study.
As if Morty's not a heaps better sidekick than Robin as well. Who just, oh jeez.
I mean,
Please.
it's basically the same person, to be honest.
it is basically the same person. 100%,
I don't know.
100%.
I just feel like Rick has a higher understanding of chemical warfare and nuclear physics, and Batman is not that smart.
Batman's just got
Not
too
that
many
hard.
Batman's got too many morals. He can't win.
Batman is
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
a genius. In like the comics, he is actually a genius.
Yeah, but Rick Sanchez would just blow up the planet that he's on.
Yeah,
He wouldn't care.
That's true.
Yeah.
That
Kill
is
his
very,
butler
very
and
true.
that's it.
Yeah, but dear listener, we need to know who would win in a fight. Would it be fair? Would it be very, very one-sided? Friday afternoons, follow at Northside Nerds on Instagram. Links are in the show notes, and you can let us know who's winning in a fight, Rick Sanchez or Batman.
Would you rage quit?
Would you rage quit like Margy just did?
Thanks, internet.
Don't feed the trolls, as the title of this says. Kill them with kindness, or just kill them, but don't, because that's
Kill him
against
if
the
it's a
law.
cave troll.
Yeah,
And
if it's a cave troll
on the side of
100%.
the orcs. Yeah.
Just jam your wand up their nose, and away you go.
No, I think the way to kill a cave troll is an arrow into the brain. Clearly,
thought it
someone's
was-
a Potterhead.
I thought it was just sunlight, wasn't it?
Bit of everything. Bit of everything.
Fireball when in doubt.
Fireball. When in doubt, fireball always. Shout out to you, dear
Transform into a
listener.
bear.
Transform into a bear. That's exactly how you do it. We'll catch you next time.
If you're lucky.
Dab.
Boom.